What's good, everybody? Welcome into the afternoon live version of the Early Edge. We do it every single Thursday afternoon as we continue to grow the brand, and we will expand to other days. For those of you joining us for the very first time, welcome to the show. We have a regular morning show. We have 4 different individual shows: golf, horses, MMA. We do it all here at the Early Edge. If you're watching on YouTube right now, hit that like button. Hit that like button. It helps us out a lot. If you're watching on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review as we continue to grow the brand on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. By the way, if you leave us that 5-star review over at Apple Podcasts, let us know who you think is going to win this week's PGA Championship. And then on Monday, we're going to be giving away a few year-long subscriptions to SportsLine. By the way, right now, live on the show, if we get to 100 likes on YouTube, then we're going to give away a year-long subscription right here live on the show. So hit that like button on YouTube and let's get started. All right, let's bring in the stars of the show. We're running the 3-man weave. I'm the point guard, baby. And look who's here for the first time, the maestro. Good afternoon, Larry. It's not good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, guys. First time I'm doing one of these. Let's get it going.
We'll be very, very gentle. Right above the maestro, Justin Perri. We have his plays all the time on the Early Edge. Hey, Justin. Oh, he's on mute. He's on mute.
Oh, how you doing, Coach? Good to be here.
You're good now. And then, of course, Mr. Livestream himself, he is M squared. What's up, Mikey?
Not much, Coach. Just picked up Chief from the vet. Had his surgery today. He's doing well. Passed out on the floor right now. Tilted the Yankee game a little bit. They didn't get that first 5W, but hey, we got the full game, so we're even on the day, and we're going to march forward.
That's exactly right. We're 1-1 so far on the day as the Yankees absolutely were abysmal on the base paths today, guys, in those first 5 innings. They should have been up 2 or 3 runs. They didn't score anything. They did win the full game. So, yes, it does sting a little bit, but this is a perfect opportunity to look at a game. And, Mikey, I'll start with you and say, listen, we were absolutely on the right side. Sometimes you can't substitute for bad base running and bad baseball.
Yeah, no, it's just part of the variance of the game. You know, it's very similar to a team making a fielding error that extends an inning and a guy gets home, but it happens. Fortunately, when you lose one, I'd rather lose the plus money than the minus 121 play. So we picked the right one to lose. However, if we had won, it still would have been exactly a push either way. But generally speaking, obviously, if you're going to lose one, it needs to be the plus money one for sure.
That's exactly right. Real quick, guys, I know you've all been watching the PGA Championship. Right now, 3-under is leading. There's 6 guys at 3-under. Sam Burns, unfortunately, had to withdraw. He's been red hot lately. Apparently, he had a back injury. What have you guys made? I'll start with you, Maestro, of what you've seen today at the PGA Championship. A little bit of everything, some good scores, and then some really, really high scores, which is what we expected.
Well, Coach, I'm going to be brutally honest and tell you you're coming to the wrong guy. I'm at a bunch of pools for money, but I got to say Rick Run Good does all my picks, and all I do is root for the guys that I have.
Fair enough. Justin, are you the same way?
I'm pretty similar. I'm between Rick and Mike. You know, I'm maybe next season I'll get my feet wet in golf, but I've been focusing MLB a little too hard maybe.
That's okay. Quickly, I'll go through the picks we have on the show. From Rick G. Patrick Reed over Webb Simpson. Webb is really struggling right now, 2 over. Cam Smith having a good day. He's over Patrick Cantlay. How about this, guys? Patrick Cantlay is even par. He's got 2 eagles in his round. He's even par with 2 eagles.
That's incredible.
That's how bad he's been playing. He hold out from the fairway, which never happens, and then he had another eagle. So this is absolutely the right play because otherwise he cannot score right now. Shane Lowry, top 20. That looks pretty good. Hideki struggled down the stretch. Spieth just missed a close one. He's at +1. And Daniel Berger came in at +3,000. So right now it's early, but all of those plays or bets are still in play. Let's turn our attention now, guys, to stuff that's coming on tonight. Not just what we have on the show, but we do have an NBA game tonight. And Maestro, you have a prop bet on this Wizards-Pacers game. You liked Hachimura over 13.5 points. Has it moved at all, or do you still like where you have it?
I still like that one a lot. I mean, I'm expecting 240, maybe 250 points, and they've got to come from somewhere. I just think Beal is not the same. I don't think he's going to go for 40 or 50. Somebody's going to have to get those 120, 130 points for the Wizards. And if you look at it, I just read an amazing stat. Against the Pacers, the Wizards shot 72 of 90 within 4 feet of the basket. Basically, they do not defend the interior without Miles Turner. And, Hachimura's 3 games were all strong, 27, 26. He did have a 13-point game, but he played 35 minutes. So just a great matchup. Need him to hit a couple outside shots, need him to get on the break, and need him to get in the paint to get 14. But there's another play that I've been discussing with our newest member of the team, Prop Stars, Alex Selesnik. And I've seen some other sharp guys that are on it, and I think I'm going to play it. And that is Brogdon over 20.5 points. Okay. It's going up. BetMGM has it at -120. I believe William Hill's up to -145, and I believe FanDuel is 21.5 even money. I don't think I want to go that high. There's no LeVert. He came back after 10 games off last game, and he only played 21 minutes, had 16 points against the Hornets because they didn't need him. So I think that's actually great for this game because they're going to need him. I think he gets 30-plus minutes. And how about this? The Wizards give up the absolute most points to opposing point guards in the league. I mean, when you watch Trae Young play them, Brogdon isn't quite Trae Young, but Trae could have put up 50 each game if he wanted to in those 2 matchups. They just do not defend the opposing point guard. So, Sabonis and Brogdon are going to have to go off. So, so I like it 20.5 over for Malcolm Brogdon.
How about this number, guys? I was looking at it. Russell Westbrook this year against the Pacers. His PAR, his points, assists, and rebound average is 65. It's 65 over the course of 3 games. That's insane. Absolutely insane. How high, Mikey, would you play it tonight? I don't even know what the number is. I didn't look it up because I'm not going to play it. But how high is too high for a guy like Westbrook? Certainly, it's a playoff game. He was off in their blowout loss to the Celtics, too.
I'll have to look at it here. My number in the model is certainly not going to be that high. It's probably going to come in around 52 is where it's going to come in this game. I think that he's, my gut says he'll go over the 52. Does anyone have the number?
It's 53.5.
53.5. Yeah, I've got it. I'd have just a slight lean on the under at that point, but some of that is also going to be correlated. So I wanted to mention while we talked about Brogdon really quickly, if you think that he plays 30 minutes, like Larry mentioned there, I love a prop on William Hill on Brogdon at over 5.5 rebounds plus 150. Okay. That mainly because of the plus 150 at it. That's right at his number for me in the simulations. If he comes in at 30 minutes, he has 5.6 rebounds is his median total. So it's a massive edge on a plus 150 there. That's a huge edge at that point. So if you think I'm very curious, Larry, you think he's going to play the full 30 minutes in this one?
I really do. Well, first of all, he's officially questionable, so we got to make sure that he's playing. But I mean, it's everything on the line. He only played 20 minutes. There haven't been any reports of any ill effects. There's no LeVert. I think it's got to be 30-plus minutes.
I mean, as long as he's active and truly healthy enough, I agree with that, and I think that that's part of the reason why I would lean under on Russ. I think that rebounds for Russ could be more competitive than we think in this game.
I think you're right. We also, on the show, we're on the Pacers on the money line tonight, guys. And this morning, when we gave it out, it was plus 130. Bradley Beal, the last time these two teams met, he scored 50. He's clearly not 100%. You could see that the other night. And so with him not 100%, Westbrook not shooting very well, I really like our play on the Pacers tonight and taking them on the money line to getting higher odds as opposed to taking the points. Justin, do you have any take on that?
I'm not really playing it from the spread side. I've been looking more at it from the underside, but I definitely agree that taking this on with the Pacers and grabbing the points is the way to go. I know. I mean, I'm literally in the Russell Westbrook jersey. I'm ready for the game. He's my guy. He's led me to some great wins all season. I love him as a player, but I don't know if they have it tonight for Indiana. I think that the offense that Indiana can put together might just be a little too much if the Wizards don't have a fully healthy Beal to back them up and really just keep their baseline of scoring options open.
It's such a weird situation, right, guys, that this is the first time we've ever done this play-in thing. And you got one team that lost, one team that won, so they're coming in with two completely different mindsets. And I think that this play-in is going to be here to stay for the NBA. But from a handicapping standpoint, what we saw last night was pretty cool, that we saw the Lakers come back and beat the Warriors. We were on the Warriors. We won that play. But now for the first time, a 7 seed, minus 270 over the Phoenix Suns in the first round. That is shocking to me. But we all know it's because LeBron and AD missed a bunch of games. But still, that could be the best first-round matchup we've seen in the NBA in a really, really long time. Maestro?
Yeah, no, can't wait for all of these series to get going, especially Hawks-Knicks. To me, that's going to be the most compelling. I think the Hawks have the talent edge. They've got more scores, but who's going to guard Julius Randle? I mean, is DeAndre Hunter going to try to slow him down? Who is going to slow that guy down? I mean, obviously the Knicks have the edge on defense. They've got the home crowd. So I just can't wait to watch that. I just think the Hawks, though, if healthy, they just have so many weapons. I mean, they really go 10 deep, so many scores coming off the bench. And I think ultimately that will be the difference. And I think the Hawks will take it in 7.
Does anybody have a lean towards a favorite to win the NBA championship right now? Has anybody dove into that yet?
I have a pick. I have one pick on the Nets just because I got them at a good price a while ago. And, when they were sort of hurting with all the injuries, you were able to get it better than like the plus 250 or so. You're going to be able to grab it now. I'm actually a Knicks guy. So, for me, it was, all right, they obviously are the team to beat. They have looked good. I'm very excited. I have tickets to game 1. I'm going to be there at Barclays on Saturday watching this game, watching the series kick off. But, I mean, the Brooklyn Nets are the team to beat. And we've seen star power, win out in terms of what LeBron has been able to do with the Lakers. It's almost impossible to repeat. I don't really see LeBron and AD doing it, especially with how banged up they've been. I'm going to be on the Nets. It wouldn't surprise me.
If you're watching on YouTube right now, the jeweler has put up all the odds for the NBA championship as we speak, and the Nets are certainly the betting favorite. What do you think, Mikey?
Honestly, at this price point, I still like the Phoenix Suns. I mean, if they get out of the first round, I think that they offer a ton of value at that price point. That price point, obviously, if they get out of the first round, they are immediately back to the Clippers Jazz range. So that's one that I would be, if you're looking for a longer shot value bet, I think that that's clearly the one. It is interesting that they will be slight underdogs in their first round series. But hey, that Lakers team was still close to losing to the Golden State Warriors. And I am very confident in saying the Phoenix Suns team is better than the Golden State Warriors, even when Steph Curry is playing the way he is. So over the series, I think that it's a value bet that I'd like to make at this point.
I think there's some. Go ahead, Maestro.
Oh, no, I was going to say, just to support Justin, I think the Nets got a break, playing the Celtics. I mean, they earned the break. I think it's a great series for them to get the rust off and learn how to play together with the stars again, because that's what everyone's talking about. Well, they haven't played a lot. Well, here they get a series that they should win and feel good about themselves and build their confidence. It's just kind of a perfect opener for them as they make the run. Yeah.
How have the Bucks just stopped being talked about? They were supposed to be the best team in basketball. Now all of a sudden the Nets are the best team in the Eastern, and nobody's talking about Giannis and his crew. Have we just overlooked them, or was their average regular season exactly what we think they are, a semifinal or maybe an Eastern Conference final team at best?
I'll take this one quickly. Sorry, Mike. But I think that what we've seen a little bit with the Bucks is that they sort of seem to be that same. I hesitate to say one-trick pony, but we know the way that they're coming at any team in the playoffs. Sort of what their strategy is going to be, and running through Giannis, and then maybe lacking a little bit of depth behind Middleton And then, where, and Drew Holiday, where do you really go? What's their second unit going to be like? How do they really match up against some of these deeper teams in the East? I just think they're going to have a big problem running into the Nets. They could have a problem running into the Knicks. They could have a problem running into the Hawks. It's just it's going to be a tough road for the Bucks to get out of the East.
Yeah. Mikey, do you have something?
Yeah, I mean, I basically tend to agree there. We saw it last year. I think the issue that really hindered them last year is they were so good in the regular season. Giannis legitimately was not in the physical condition to play 40 minutes a game in the playoffs because he played 26 minutes a night, essentially 26 hard minutes a night, coasted to 30 minutes every single night. And there's just a massive difference when you ratchet up the intensity there and have to play those additional minutes. I think they're a little more prepared to deal with that this time around, but I still do think that they lack the depth. I think the team itself is relatively fragile. I like them to win in any one game scenario, but I think over the course of a series that it could be very difficult for them. I think the East is a lot better than we think it is. We're so used to the East, being kind of a cakewalk. I think that the Bucks aren't as good as they were, and everybody else is a heck of a lot better than they've been.
Maestro, I have a question for you, Larry.
Yeah.
I have a question for you because you're our prop guy. You love. You're very, very good at props. When we get to the playoffs, how does handicapping props change for you?
Well, I mean, I think it just gets tougher, because like we talked about this morning, the odds makers don't have to put out, 800 or however many they put out every single day. They're looking at, 100 or 200. So each line can be sharper. I mean, it's the same thing when they have to post, 60 college football games instead of, 10 NFL games. The lines, the more they have to do, the more chances are to, to spot some value. But there's still value. There's always value. There's always plays that you like. And I just want to say, I think the commenters are right. We aren't talking about the Sixers, and their elite defense. And I mean, I can't wait if it'll be Sixers Nets. That's just a classic defense versus offense type of a matchup. Nets have nobody inside, but obviously the Nets have all the scoring punch in the world, and yeah, can't wait for that. I also think the Bucks will be better this year because of Drew Holiday. I don't think they're going to flame out quite the same way that they did.
Boy, and they're paying him a ton of money to stick around in Milwaukee too. By the way, we have a very loyal listener, viewer who's a little upset with us, guys. I'll be honest, he's a little bit upset with us because he's like, the Sixers, they're the #1 seed. Complete disrespect. OGK. Relax. Just relax. The Sixers have done nothing this year to warrant putting them up on a pedestal because the Nets and the Bucks fighting injury, and they've been coasting into the playoffs. Would you all agree with that? The Nets have not had Harden, Irving, and KD all at the same time until now, and that's just a fact.
No, it's definitely a fact. We maybe should give the Sixers just a little bit of love, but I don't think they're a legitimate title contender, which is kind of where the conversation started, right? So because of that, that's frankly why I didn't mention them, because I don't view them as a legitimate title contender.
All right, let's switch gears now, guys. Before we get to baseball, hockey, we had a question, our thought process on picking the Islanders tonight instead of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I think we kind of laid it out pretty well from Matt Severance earlier today, but the Islanders have been great on home ice this year. This is kind of an even series. They've only lost 4 times in regulation at home this year. So I think the Islanders, and I've been surprised, and I don't know about you guys, maybe I'll start with Maestro. I'm really into the NHL playoffs this year. Maybe it's because of the show, I don't know, but I'm really into it.
Yeah, it's so exciting. And I'm looking up Matt's record right now. I think the reason we went for them on the show is was pretty simple. I mean, over the last 225 picks, he's up like $3,500 or something like that. That's 30 something units. So that's why we went with it. I don't claim to know anything about the NHL.
I love these comment sections. I love these live streams. So OGK just sent another comment in, and he goes, "Coach, I'm not on a pedestal. I'm just pointing out the Sixers are the #1 seed." Oh, man, I love sports fans. We love you all. Good, bad, indifferent. If you're upset, we love it all. Oh, man. It's amazing that when people love a team, how offended they get if you don't talk about their team or if you pick against their team. Those are the two things you cannot do. Cannot do.
No, I see the comment about the Heat. I'll jump in real quickly on the Heat and
Go ahead.
say I do like the Miami Heat. Obviously, the first round matchup is with the Bucks, which is not an easy matchup by any stretch, which is probably the reason why I'm a little low on the Bucks as well. If there's one player I want on my team in a playoff situation, that's Jimmy Butler. I'm just telling you, he's
Hell yes.
absolute dog. He is someone I want on my team there. But Miami is someone that could easily go on a run here. If they get hot shooting the three with Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, they have Bam Adebayo is nice enough at times. If Jimmy Butler has everyone bought in at the right time, like they could very well bounce the Bucks first round. And depending on how everything else happens in this format, like look out. We could be looking at a pretty nice matchup here for them going forward.
I think it's a good point. Jonathan Roach says, if you think Philly's getting no respect, look at the Utah Jazz. They're the number 1 seed out west, boys. But yeah, we're talking about LA, 7 seed. Phoenix, 2 seed. Clippers, what can they do? Nobody's talking about the Utah Jazz. Why not? Justin?
I think it just happens to be that sort of name brand recognition that the Utah Jazz just don't have. No one's going to talk about the Utah Jazz until they really show up in the playoffs and tell us why we need to be talking about them. They're just at that point in their life as a franchise, right? They haven't really done a lot recently. They put together this really great team, this really scrappy team, this team that has, obtained the best record in the West, but people are still going to look to the Clippers. They're going to look to LeBron and the Lakers. They're going to sort of see this new year that with the new play-in tournament and everyone resting and sort of discredit the regular season a little bit this year is sort of what we're seeing, right? It's why no one's putting the respect on the Sixers or the Jazz. It's just people aren't as impressed with what they've done in the regular season because everyone kind of said, why are we even going to play tonight for half of these games? And we mentioned it a lot on the show, right? We're not playing the NBA. It's hard to predict. Lineups are getting crazy. So, it just makes some sense to me to see these number 1 seeds not getting all the love as much as like a team with a tried and tested roster of playoff veterans.
Great point. Quick update, guys. We're about halfway there on the likes. If you haven't hit the like button yet, if you're watching on YouTube, do that. If we get to 100 likes, we're going to give away a year-long subscription on the show live right here in this hour. Maestro.
Oh,
so
Coach, can I just jump in? I saw one of the questions. The other prop is Brogdon over 20.5 points. That's the second prop. Yeah. So.
Thank you. I do want to ask you. I don't know where it went. Let me find it. Somebody said they're putting their entire bankroll tomorrow on the Golden State Warriors. Maestro, what advice would you give to that young man or woman?
Seriously reconsider that. Been doing this for a long time, and there is no such thing as a sure thing.
This is a true story. This happened to me last night. I was having kind of a bad night, and so even those of us in the business can go on tilt. So I was sitting there. I was like, you know what? I'm just betting big on the Lakers on the money line. On the money line, okay? They were minus 227 last night. So I kind of fell asleep because we get up early, right? I get up at 5 a.m. I fall asleep. It's 55-42 at the half. Do you think I was sweating that a little bit? You're damn right I was. I told myself I'll never do this again. So they come back and win the game by 3. Didn't cover the 5. So the show won and I won, but I learned my lesson. Don't go big on the money line when you're laying 227 in the NBA. Like Maestro said, there's no such thing as a sure thing.
But
and the Lakers.
To that point, I would definitely lean with the Warriors. We just saw that matchup, a few days ago, and both teams wanted that bad. And even though they couldn't stop Valanciunas, Golden State led wire to wire. I was pretty much a comfortable win. They won by 12. So yeah, definitely a better matchup for them than the Lakers were.
Andrew Wiggins has been a nice little compliment to Steph Curry too for the Warriors. He's played in all but one game this year. Amazing. All but one game he's played for the Warriors this year, which is a novel concept in today's NBA. I definitely like the Heat over the Bucks, especially better. All right, I think that's all the comments we have on the NBA. So let's switch gears now as we're about halfway through. This time goes so fast. Let's go to the baseball now. And Mikey, let's hit on one game you still have left on the board today from the early edge this morning. The Red Sox getting plus money tonight against the Blue Jays. Still hot on that?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Nothing has changed from my perspective. It looks like there's a little buying on the other side of the game. It's come down to plus 115. Not massive movement on it, but definitely still on the game. Still like the Red Sox here. Still have about 6 cents of value. I made it around plus 110 in the simulation. So still getting a little value on where I was at it early in the day. So I like it here. I like them against left-handed pitching.
Okay. Maestro, you're on Miami tonight.
Yeah, I'm getting a little worried because there's a lot of sharp people that I know, and they're all on Miami as well. So that kind of worries me when we're all on the same page. But, Sandy Alcantara, coming off 8-run second inning, I believe it was, against the Dodgers, worst start of his career. Before that, he was rock solid. I think he's going to bounce back in a big way. And then Velasquez, is pitching really like he hasn't pitched. 3 straight games, 6 innings, 1 run. 4 hits or less. But if you look at the expected numbers, and I know Mike and Justin are huge into those analytics, I think his expected ERA is about a run higher than his actual ERA. That Marlins got 11 hits last night. I just think they shouldn't be the underdog here. I think this should at worst be a pick'em. So I hope me and the other guys I saw are all right.
There's only 5 games left tonight because it's a Thursday slate. So you got the Marlins, Phillies, Twins, Angels, the second game of a doubleheader, and currently Angels lead 4-1 in that first game. Then you've got the Pirates and the Braves, Red Sox, Blue Jays that we just talked about, and then the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. The Dodgers, again, guys, they're minus 203. They've not been playing like a team that should be favored north of 200, it seems like, every single night. What is it going to take for either that to come down or for the Dodgers to play up to how good people think that they are? Justin, I'll let you take that one.
Well, the first thing, Coach, is they got to stop playing the Diamondbacks. They've beaten them 3 straight, and like you said, the market's just gonna keep giving them big spreads in games where they have any meaningful edge to win. This is just another example of teams the market loves. LA is one of the biggest markets for sports in the world. People bet the Dodgers. People know the Dodgers are supposed to be good. It makes it hard to find value when playing this team. Does that mean that they're not going to win? No, it just means you're probably going to lose more than you would on another team with an equal % chance to win the same game, just because of the favoritism. Again, I think that, the record for the Dodgers is 25-18. You probably thought it was maybe even a little worse, but it could be better. They have gotten bolstered by playing this pretty bad Arizona team. David Price starts tonight, and he hasn't really been all that great. He's sitting above a 5 ERA. This is going to be an interesting one to watch. I definitely still think you go with the Dodgers if you have to play it, but it was a big pass for me. I don't play lines that steep usually.
Yeah, if you do play that, even if they're 25-18, you've lost money if you're playing on them every single day, because you got to win 3 games to win 1 bet if you win. It's a tough thing, and then you're forced to play the run line all the time if you want to do that, and it becomes a very slippery slope. One of the other games tonight, Mikey, the Pittsburgh and Atlanta, the Braves coming off a big walk-off win last night. The Mets were like plus 160, 165. If you were on the Mets last night, like I was from SportsLine, you were ticked because you had that game 1 all the way through, and then they do a walk-off. So tonight, the SDQL Gurus, they're on Atlanta, minus 195. They're also on the over in this game as well. Do you have any take on that?
I had the take I guess I would have on that is I do agree with liking Atlanta. I would not be playing it at that price at minus 190, but typically if you followed me much, you'll know that I'm very rarely playing anything above minus 130 anyway. I do like Atlanta. I think Ronald Acuna homers today. I think that he's going to play incredibly well in this matchup. I think it's a great matchup for Atlanta's top of the order. I expect them to – the over concerns me a little bit. The question is going to be how sharp is Smiley. I think that Pitt, they should be able to put the ball in play enough. Whether that's going to translate to runs or not, we will see. But I think that Atlanta is definitely going to score some runs in this game.
All right, so that over may be something to be on.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Maestro.
Let me jump in on there, and I'm on Smiley under 5.5 strikeouts. I mean, he's pitched well the last couple outings, but I think he's only gone over this strikeout number once all season. The Pirates aren't terrible in terms of strikeout rate. They are a little worse versus lefties, but also Smiley at night has been terrible. I don't understand the number, and I'm going to throw out another guy that we're bringing to the team, Coach. You're probably I was thinking of a nickname for him. He's a young kid. He's a kid named Max, and I was thinking maybe Mad Max might be a good nickname for him. But anyway, this kid is I'm not going to call him a savant or anything like that, but he's super sharp. I get a lot of kids that kind of reach out to me, young guys, that want to get into the business. And I've been talking to this kid for, a year, 2 years. We go over plays every day. We text back and forth, ideas back and forth. And he's on Smiley under 5.5. I like it too. When I saw the number, it doesn't make sense. Why is the number 5.5? Maybe he fans 7 and I look stupid, but just looking at his game log, you got to take a chance at plus money, even though it's the Pirates.
All right, Mad Max. I'm going to write that down. And
you're the nickname guy, so I don't want to. You're the.
But we're a team.
Guy, so,
we're a team, and we have to agree on it as a team. Now, I have the final say, but I kind of like that. I have some scary news for you, Maestro.
Uh-oh.
And I'm glad that you're sitting down for this.
Uh-oh.
Because you mentioned all the guys that are on your game tonight or not on your game tonight. The Contrarian, the Zach Attack.
Uh-oh.
He's back in Miami too.
Oh,
our guy. So he's on your side. He's on your side.
He's
on your side. The Contrarian. The Contrarian.
Go.
Also, people always ask us all the time if we talk before the show and make sure that all of us are on the same side of games. I'm going to give you an example of how we don't do that. So at SportsLine, a ton of you follow us at SportsLine. SDQL Gurus, they're on the over 8 in your game, Maestro. The Kyle Aikens, he's on the under 8 in that same game. Then you and Zach Attack are on Miami in that same game. So there's so many different ways to look at a game, and it's just about who you trust, who you want to go with, who you follow. But just on the one game, those are 3 different plays that we have at SportsLine.
Awesome. Let's do it. If I could get a Marlins win and get 6 Ks from Sandy, I'll be really happy tonight.
Be so happy. Me too. See if there's anything else from baseball. It seems like a lot of people in the chat they changed with us. It was a lot of NBA, and just for those of you who leave comments, we can see all of them. We want to talk about what you want us to talk about. Angels over 6.5 just hit. Oh, good, because I played the over in that game. Thank goodness. Thank you, Sean. I forgot I had the over in that game. Thank goodness. I had it at 7, though. What's the score right now? Anybody got the score? Jeweler, you got the score in that Angels game currently?
It is 6-1 Angels right now.
It is 6-1. All right, I need one more run. I think we can get that. But at least
you
I got
push, though. You got the push. You should have.
I got the
Bottom of the
push.
5th, they've got a runner on second. They might get it right here.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. Go ahead, Maestro.
No, sorry, Coach. I wanted to. You had mentioned how bad the Dodgers were against the money line this year. You're only down 529 if you're betting their money line every single day.
Okay, that's not.
Yeah, I mean it's not good, but it's not catastrophic. I think the worst team is definitely the Twins. You're down 1634 if you're betting the Twins every single day, and the best team looks to be the Giants. You're up 1140 if you bet the Giants every single day this season.
The Giants just got 4 straight underdog lines playing the Reds, and it looks like they have swept all 4. So I think if you took the Giants in all 4 of those games at Great American Ballpark, I think you're walking away like 4-0 up 5 units. So, I've talked about that all week. I have no idea how they maintain being the favorites or being the underdogs. I mean, I know a lot of different models are putting that Cincinnati offense ahead of them, but I think it's time we really start putting some respect on that San Francisco Giants pitching staff. They're one of the best in the league.
Justin, you're dead on. The problem is that right now there's this perception because of how the season started that every game that the Reds play at home goes over and they score a ton of runs. That's the perception. Not necessarily the reality, because today they got outscored 19-4 by the Giants at home in that fourth game.
The over.
Yeah, we hit the over, 3 hours ago. But that's a great point. For some reason, when you play in a division, guys, with the Padres and with the Dodgers, who are two of the season total, we did our baseball special, and they had two of the highest future totals of anybody in baseball. So it's easy to forget about the Giants and not put any respect on their name. But I think through the first month and a half now of the season, maybe you take this one, Maestro, that right now the Giants, I think you would consider them from a betting perspective probably the biggest surprise in all of baseball.
You know what? I'm gonna let Mikey handle that one.
Okay.
I don't know.
I love when I stump you guys. I love when I stump you guys.
Surprise so far this season, but
yeah,
I can give you a surprising statistic so far this season. Still, we've talked about it a few times. I believe even last time on the stream. MLB underdogs so far this season. Still, they're 283 and 340. That is a 45% winning percentage. Mm-hmm. If you had bet every underdog, you would be up $37.51. You'd be up $3,751 by simply betting every underdog in Major League Baseball without any thought at all.
All right, well, let me ask you a question, Mikey.
Yep.
So given that that's what's happened over the first, 2 months in, almost 2 months,
yep.
Is that moving forward? Is that instructive or is that just interesting? Is it going to flip back drastically?
I don't think it flips back as much as you think. You always expect it to be somewhat close to 50-50. Now, like the best advice I used to give people who just like really want to gamble and have a sweat on the games, the best way to ensure that you're not going to lose any money while also not making any money, if you just want to break even, bet every underdog, just like you do in the NFL. They're going to win at a clip high enough to where you're probably not going to beat the juice that you're paying, essentially, but you're not going to lose. And everyone bets favorites. Everyone bets overs. They're shaded by 3 to 4% at the sportsbook everywhere. That's the best advice I used to give people all the time that just like genuinely love the sweat. And so far, we're looking at it now plus 37.50 for blindly betting underdogs. I would have a hard time believing it doesn't stay at least plus 1,000 for the season.
Wow. That's the great thing about these live. You learn so much. And I got so many tweets from people talking about how much they learn from listening for this hour. And we're absolutely going to do more. We've got about 20 minutes left. I just got some great news, guys. We have hit our goal of 100 likes for the show. So now what we need to do, I need people to go to the comment section. That's right. You comment Coach plus your Twitter handle. And we're going to do this for the next 5 to 7 minutes. So comment, right, Coach, your Twitter handle, and then I'm going to select a winner of a year-long subscription to SportsLine right here live on the show. Now, if we can get to 200 in the final 20 minutes, Mikey, that was a great idea by you. If we can get to 200, I'll give away another year-long subscription to SportsLine. I can tell you right now, that's over $100 for a year subscription. And so that's a lot of value that we're giving to you for free. Yeah. All right. Oh, they're already starting to come in. People want that subscription. They're coming in. All right, keep them coming. We're going to give you about 5 or 7 minutes. The jeweler is keeping track of all of them. Don't worry if you're first. You still got an equal chance. I like that. I like that people are really engaging with us here at the live stream. Maestro, how are you enjoying it? This is your first time.
Oh, I'm loving it. It reminds me of the Super Bowl when we were live streaming during the Super Bowl, which is a lot of fun. But speaking of things evening out, 308 and 309. That's the record for overs and unders this season. So, dead even. And then, the NFL, if I'm trying to remember, but I know that road dogs were huge this year and it never quite evened out. I think, it started to tail, but pretty sure you made a lot of money, blindly betting road dogs this season, especially within a certain range. So, it was just interesting to follow this stuff.
I think that takes a ton of discipline, and it takes a ton of just saying, okay, I'm going to commit to this. Because if you're going to do that, guys, right, you can't do it for a week. You got to do it for an extended period of time if you want to get the numbers that Mikey's talking about. And I don't know how many people are disciplined enough to do that. Well, I'm not.
I don't think anyone is blindly betting. I mean, if you blindly bet Bill Belichick since he took over in New England, I mean, you probably retired. So
you're probably no longer betting. You've moved on.
That's very true. That's very true. Always on the money line. I don't care what I'm going to do. It's 18-1. I'll take them on the money line. Minus 872 for the Patriots over the Jets. All right, guys, we got about 18 minutes left. Keep those comments coming. Daniel says, love that underdog stat. Was like that in the NBA for majority of the season as well. All right, keep those coming in. Text coach and then put in your Twitter handle. One person here said he didn't have Twitter. Sorry, you better get Twitter because that's how you win. But keep them coming. We got 15 minutes left. Let's start, Mikey. Give me one thing that you're most interested in tonight on tonight's card. Could be anything.
I'm mostly going to be interested in the bet that I made because I'd like to win some money. But
of course, so would we.
Right.
And we know that Mike's unit size is a little bit larger. So so I get that.
All you got to do is check my Venmo history, and I know what his unit size is. Okay, we know what that unit size is. Go ahead, Mikey. Sorry.
That's definitely what I'm most interested in tonight. I am interested in the Braves game. I will be watching and sweating this Drew Smiley prop with Larry quite a bit as well. Really short slate over there overall, though. I think that.
Wait, Mike, did you invest in it, or are you just going to be supporting?
I haven't invested in it yet. I've looked at it, but I haven't invested in it yet. The other thing that I'm looking at potentially adding is I'm trying to uncover what's happening with Brogdon, how much he's going to play. That 5.5 number at plus 150 on the rebounds, I think is pretty attractive at a plus 150 payout. The issue with that bet versus a plus 150 baseball bet, the plus 150 baseball bet, we have the opportunity to make that as many times as we want. The edge that we have on this rebound prop, we have it one night. So are you comfortable playing a 40% probability event that's going to lose 60% of the time? For me, yes. For most bettors, probably not. So that's what I'm looking at tonight. I think that there's some edge there. There's some edge to the under in the game. There's some edge to the under on Westbrook in general. So that's what I'm interested in.
I think go ahead, Justin.
Sorry, my bad. But for me, again, I'm with Mike on the under. I have, talking about blindly betting things. I am really intrigued in watching the unders in the NBA playoffs. I was tweeting about it on the first night of the play-in tournament that the unders have just, when you talk about NBA playoffs, you hear about the defense. You'll hear people who have been betting for a long time tell you that the unders do have a bit of an edge. And we've seen it already. Unders are 3-1 in the first couple days. And I'm looking again at this number, which has been rising. And look, I think the market's wrong. They were wrong about the last Wizards game. The Wizards played some good defense. They made deliberate attempts at the basket. They weren't just running and gunning and flying around like they can be. I know people are probably worried about the Pacers maybe trying to play at that pace, but it's still a playoff game where every point needs to matter, and you just don't see people just, running like that unless you get a blowout like we saw with the Hornets. So as long as you don't think that this is going to be a blowout, I think the under has legs tonight.
Hey, Justin, real quick. Sorry, Maestro. I don't know if you were with us yet, but probably the biggest boneheaded play as a show unit that we ever have made so far. You know what I'm talking about, Maestro.
Yeah, the game that had 300. The game that had 300 points, and we went under.
Yeah, we even tweeted, "Oh, it's going to be 290." That wouldn't even have been the under on that game. 290, it still went over, and it was embarrassing. We just laughed it off. It went 56 points over the over, or 57, and it was these two teams.
It was these two. Yeah,
it was these two teams.
I mean, I got to tell you now. If I'm going to lose an under, I'd rather lose it in the third quarter and not watch on the edge of my seat in the fourth quarter for the entire game. So, if it's going to be close, you might as well lose it early.
I agree.
Justin, I will tell you on that total. I mean, I saw openings at 240.5 down to 237.5. Now we're up to 238.5, I believe. So some people are thinking that it will be a little bit like playoff basketball. But I mean, all three games went over, right? And went over easily, right? All three matchups, I believe, with Washington winning each one. I know that they're going to try to value it, but I mean, there's no Miles Turner. There's, do these teams have it in them? They could shoot bad though. They could definitely, Bertans, was 0 for 7 last game from deep.
Maestro.
Speaking of him, I think he's critical to that Washington. If Washington's going to win the game, he can't be scoring 4 points in 32 minutes. That's not going to work for them. So
all three games, guys, at least 256. At least 256 for all 3 games this year, and of course that 301. It was 154. Sorry,
below that.
Yes, 237 was the last number I saw. Is that what the total is still at? I thought 237.
Like 238 or so now. Yeah,
238 and a half. I have, for some reference, I have 236.1 in my simulations. So
okay,
just slightly on the under there. But
interesting. Okay.
We'll see.
Well, the Warriors and Lakers was true playoff basketball in the 90s, and that's kind of what we're used to as it adjusts to the playoffs. But tonight will be interesting. We did have a comment, guys, and a question. Somebody who came in a little bit late. The PAR of Westbrook 53.5. Can you just quickly revisit, because a lot of people came in late? Would we play that, or how do we feel about Westbrook at 53.5?
For me, it's a slight lane under. I have it at 52.1, but it's going to ultimately come down to what you're comfortable with. If there's one player on the planet that can crush 53.5 and make you look stupid, it's Russell Westbrook. So
he's got to make points though. And the other day he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He had like 20 rebounds early, but then it was nuts. Real quick also, because people come in and come out. So a lot of people in the chat room. Maestro, they missed your prop that you gave out here on the show. Can you re-give it, please?
That was Brogdon over 20.5. Got to make sure he's active, but the thinking being there's no Levert. High-paced game with 240 points. He had 16 points in 21 minutes a couple days ago, which is his first game back from a hamstring thing. Was kind of good though. He didn't have to play too much. They're gonna need him to pour in the points. I believe he had 26 in this matchup. Previously, I have to look it up, but I do know the Wizards absolutely do not stop the opposing point guard, give up the most points in the league, and credit a lot of this information to our new capper, Alex Selesnik, who goes by PropStars on Twitter, a must follow. Great info there. He's already targeting the NBA playoffs, and I'll give you one of his, you can check it out on his feed for all the reasoning, but he's over Harden 8.5 assists in game 1, and he made a point that we may not see this line again in the playoffs. It's just because he's coming back from the injury. I mean, you remember he was putting up double digits with regularity. So
we were cashing him night after night. Over 8.5. That seems that seems almost like a halftime play for him.
I don't know what it is now. He gave it out, I think, earlier. I'm going to check. I'm going to look it up right now and see what it is.
Real quick, I want to do something because we want this to be completely interactive, and we value everybody that takes the time. Even if it's a couple of minutes, we appreciate you tuning in. There's a very special young man. His name's Thomas, and fortunately, he's in the hospital right now. But he's watching us from his hospital bed, and apparently the favorite thing he loves from the early edge is when I welcome Mikey and his betting board every day. So he would like me to do it to him. So if you guys will indulge me, Thomas, this is for you, just like I would do for our star of the show, M Squared. Thomas, from your hotel bed, feeling good on a Thursday. You know the drill, son. Give it to me. There you go. Thomas, that was just for you. Get better. Be better. All right, we appreciate you watching, being a part of the team, all right? All right, quickly, guys, we got about 9 minutes left. By the way, if we were giving out year-long subscriptions to the best Twitter handle that has written in, how about at Fade Me to Glory? That's a Twitter handle, at Fade Me to Glory. Sounds like somebody is a contrarian and wants everybody to go against his picks. Fade Me to Glory. That's pretty interesting. I like that. So much cool stuff happening here on this hour. If you're just joining us, we're almost coming to the end of our hour. Maestro, Justin, and M Square. We're here every single Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. We'll be expanding this as well as we continue to grow the Early Edge brand. So, guys, with 8 minutes left, we talked a lot about the NBA, a lot about hockey, a lot about Major League Baseball. The Jewelers Gym parlay, by the way, we hit the first one, Yankees money line, and now we just got to work on the Panthers and the Bolts over 5.5 goals. And there's been an absurd number of goals so far early in the playoffs. I don't know if it's going to continue, but so far the hockey's been a lot of fun. Maestro, real quick, what are you looking forward to tonight?
I'm just going back and looking at Russell Westbrook because I think he's the most compelling player, active tonight. I believe he's gone under his PAR, points, rebounds, and assists, the last 2 games now because it's been so inflated. And, some people were saying he was ill the other night. They were saying he didn't look like himself. You just cannot expect that to be the case again with the season on the line. I'm still not playing it, but I will tell you that my young friend Mad Max, the savant, is playing Russ over rebounds and assists, over PAR.
Wow.
He's cashed a lot of tickets on Westbrook this season, and it's basically been over just blindly, until it stops working. And he's on it tonight. I told him I'm not joining him, but that's his play.
All right, Justin, what are you looking forward to tonight?
I think there was something I really wanted to sort of put in with that whole MLB underdog conversation we had a little earlier. We were talking about how profitable they have been. Mike mentioned $3,500 or so, $3,750 over the full season. I just really wanted to point out that has been with the beginning of May being awful for the underdogs. There was a point where in the last 2 weeks, the underdogs had dropped like 14 units, and we're still sitting here talking about them about being 35 units above 500. So, I'm still sitting here looking for underdog value every day. I love the pick on the Miami Marlins. I do think that you had the Atlanta Braves overvalue tonight. Now, that doesn't mean I think the Pirates win. I just think in a long-term, betting scenario, if you were to continue to bet the Pirates in overvalued situations, you would profit. Or undervalued situations. I'm not taking the Pirates. I don't actually have any plays on this slate tonight. But, if I was going to try to sneak one in, it would probably be either going over on the next game for the Minnesota Twins and the Angels, or it would be taking this run line with my guys. And not the run line, the money line on the Marlins with my guys and cashing that ticket, hopefully.
All right, very good. A lot of good information there. I may play the over now. You guys are kind of talking me into the Braves over, and you're scaring me away from the game. I never like to make 2 bets on the game. The SDQL gurus are doing that. How do you guys feel about making 2 bets on the same game? Do you like to do it, or do you not like to do it?
I'll start since I did it today. There are rare situations when I will make a play twice. In those situations, it'll be like that, where it'll be a first 5 run line where I can grab them at plus money, and then hopefully in a close money line like that. So I had them Yankees at plus 120 to be ahead after the 5th inning, had them at minus 120 for the entire game. It's a good way to take advantage of what you think should be a really good situation without having 2 full units on the exact same play. So
okay. Maestro, what about you, Beb?
Yeah, you have a narrative in your head of what's going to happen. And if you see multiple bets that play into that, I think you got to run with it. I do hate having conflicting, especially if it's like a high dollar fantasy game against a bet I really like. I really hate those situations in terms of what you're rooting for most. But yeah, I don't think it. I don't parlay. Generally, I don't play a lot of parlays. But if you have a correlated situation where both seem, like tonight, I like the Marlins. I like Sandy strikeouts. I'm probably going to go. Could go 1-1, but good chance I'll go 2-0 or 0-2.
Very good. All right, Justin.
I'll just quickly jump in and I agree with my guys here. For me, I really don't try to do that. I talked a little bit about a situation yesterday where I think it is okay. And that was in the Colorado Rockies Padres game, where I said that maybe taking the Padres on the run line and then playing the Rockies on the team total going under, right? So my bets sort of worked with each other. We did get a 3-0 victory and both bets hit on those leans. But, again, I don't really search out trying to do it. I will, again, definitely try not to hedge my money as much as possible by having conflicting bets or daily fantasy lineups or whatever it might be. But the one thing I will do, like let's say you love this Miami run line or money line tonight with plus 110, plus 115, and maybe you want to get the Marlins in your parlay, but you want to be a little bit more confident. I'll take them on that underdog run line, get the 1.5, bite the odds down, and just, win even if they lose by 1 in my parlay. But other than that, I don't think you want to be betting too much on one game because you can have conflicting results.
I think something in our next live feed, we'll talk about team totals, because I think that's something that kind of flies under the radar, and it's a good way to make money if you can target the right team and the right side. I think we're going to wrap it up there. I do have one final piece of business. We got to give away this year-long subscription. And I'm going to go. I'm making an executive decision. I'm going to go with at THT Boy Bright. At THT Boy Bright. Thomas is his name. You, sir, just won a year-long subscription to SportsLine. But don't fret. For all of you who did not win, we're going to do it every single week, every single time, because we're trying to build this community to make it as big as it can possibly be. We love you all. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for following the Early Edge. Don't forget, follow all of these guys, all of us on social media. Mikey, Maestro, Justin, still got to come up with a nickname for you. And, of course, the jeweler who puts it all together. Guys, any final words? Everybody good? Everybody good?
Enjoy the action.
All right. Enjoy the action. Maybe that could be like the kind of the nickname of the show. Enjoy the action. I like it. All right. That's going to do it. For M Squared, for the Maestro, for Justin, for the jeweler, I am the coach. We do it every single Thursday, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. And don't forget the MMA episode with our guy Ian Parker, who has been killing it in your feed right now. Bellator Friday night, UFC on Saturday night. I'm the coach. Remember, this is the only place, and it doesn't matter the sport, for your daily, weekly, it doesn't matter, Early Edge. Good